20 years, 4 presidents, billions of dollars, and it looks like we are in worse shape today than ever. But we as Americans must never forget 9/11. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Saturday this week, of course, today, a very tragic day in American history, 9/11, 20 years ago today. And as I said in the opening, 20 years, 4 presidents, billions of dollars, and I think we're in worse shape today than we were then. But we have to take the time today to make sure to thank and honor the people, the servants, the public servants, military, fire, police, medical, and everybody who volunteered to help us get through the American tragedy. And remember those who we've lost and honor them, and honor those that survived, and salute and thank military, fire, police, because if it wasn't for them, we couldn't do what we do. So as we move into the actual Bubba's Bottom Line for the week, I think it is important to understand where we are and what is going on. And of course, when we look into the overall country today, you've got the defund police movements. You've got our president giving up power and control to everybody but us. To me, it's kind of scary. And I think we are in probably worse shape today than any time in the last 20 years. With these ridiculous movements that want to punish the people that take care of us for some potential bad apples. I don't know. It's kind of scary when you think about it, and when you look what can happen, and certainly with what is going on today and opening up everything, we are certainly in that jeopardy once again. But in the meantime, okay, the business world and the markets go on, but I did want to pay tribute and thank everybody, the families of, and all of you who were so instrumental in helping those that needed it, and helping us get through and defending our country. So as we look at it, and of course, obviously, I guess the biggest stories of the week are still about COVID. It is vaccine, no vaccine, and of course now our resident genius, Biden, Pelosi, and Newsom now, who were all against mandating vaccinations, have decided to mandate them now, okay, and make it necessary. Now, again, I don't know personally what is the right thing to do with the vaccinations. I mean, obviously, I would love to know the answer. I don't. So I don't have a problem, but there are people, and I know people that have a religious belief that will not get vaccinated. So I guess, does that mean they should lose their job? And interestingly enough, Israel has proven that the natural catching of COVID is more powerful than the vaccine itself. So again, I don't know the right answer, and I won't pretend to know the right answer. I will only say that I can, understand those who don't want to get it, and I cannot hold it against them if it is against their beliefs. And I think that this is, once again, like everything else, has become a political position, not a true medical position, which I find even more disturbing because we have become so political about everything, and that really punishes the citizens and the Americans. Okay. And, I think, when we watch this mess unfold, okay, I mean, President Biden wants to fix a $7 trillion tax evasion problem. Now, he is forecasting that we lose X amount per year through tax loopholes. We'll change the tax code and stop allowing it, because every American, it's the American way to pay less taxes if the rules and laws are in place of it. Okay. Warren Buffett, who whines and cries that the taxes isn't enough. Well, certainly we know, if you don't know what he does, he takes a $100,000 salary, which gets taxed at the normal rate, and he takes $12.9 million in dividends, which gets taxed at a much reduced rate, which is why he does not pay enough taxes. Okay. But again, that is the tax laws, and he is allowed to do that because it is legal. You want to fix it, change the way the system is. Don't try to hunt for what you cannot fix. Okay. So this is just another ridiculous idea from people that have no idea and no clue of what goes on in the world. Okay. And, the Federal Reserve is no better. Okay. Again, another political organization that is supposed to be independent. They're supposed to worry about jobs, okay, and stability. Instead, they become traders and involved in markets. And it's interesting that not only are they involved in markets, but they are trading markets themselves. And they're basically trading on inside information, which is legal. Now, you tell me, where is that legal versus the normal people? This is not the first time this has come out, okay? That some of the Fed governors make trades based on what they already know, okay? So they have no accountability, and they're just basically kissing the ass of the political party to keep their jobs. Now, I don't care what party you're for. Is that what you want? Is that who you want handling your purse strings? Okay. This is why you're seeing activity in the cryptocurrencies. This is why you're seeing a lot of things happen that shouldn't be happening. But this is, again, when you have people that do stupid things and moronic things like the Federal Reserve, and then you have those same people that will take advantage of it where we can't. What does it tell you? Okay. Russia is having a party, and China is having a party because of the failures of this administration. The failures in Russia's case to stop the Nord 2 pipeline. Okay. Why we wanted to stop the pipeline, in my opinion, is ridiculous. Anyways, again, I'm all for trying to become and make a cleaner environment. Okay. I am all for it. But when you know that the biggest part of the population of the world is never going to stop using the biggest pollutant, which is coal, how are we going to make these adjustments, and at what cost? And as you look at it, at what cost have we made the changes so far? Well, we're totally broke, which we're always broke, but we're totally broke. We're now paying twice as much for fuel when we could be paying half. Okay. Natural gas is going to Pluto. It is the highest prices has been in 20 years at this time of year. Okay. And yet the environment is not any greener, nor do they have anything done or scheduled or planned. Okay. So once again, we were already the greenest country in the world before all of this. And why couldn't we have just stayed at the rolling, okay, forward and making improvements instead of wiping out everybody and everything, all for ignorance and stupidity? Okay, you tell me. Okay, and I don't care how green you want to be. You cannot make it happen overnight, and you cannot get it done. And you have just wiped out jobs and people's income and savings for what you have done, because you refuse to identify that there's inflation. Okay. And you love to see these prices go to Pluto for no reason when we have the natural resources without disturbing anything in this country. Okay. And, you know, I'll tell you what, the leftists have appointed themselves the cultural educators. You know, you want to make sure you repeat history. Just don't forget what happened, and then you can certainly put yourself in a position to repeat it. And we are in danger of so many bad things between the cancel culture and between the destroying of the history and the way that we are educating our children today. Okay. Does anybody really think that what has happened in the past can't happen again? Okay. I mean, are we really going to believe that if we forget what has happened and you wipe it out over time, it gets lost over generations, it gets repeated? Okay. And to me, it doesn't make sense. Okay. When you look at it, and now that you've got, China swooping in potentially to Venezuela. Now, China is slowly taking over every oil well in the world. They are slowly taking pieces. It's like the game of Risk. They keep advancing and taking over little points because we continue to ignore. Okay. You could have liked Donald Trump. You could have hated him. But the one thing that Mr. President Trump did was he kept law and order, and he kept China under control. And now Russia, China are celebrating, along with Afghanistan, which is now back fully controlled by the Taliban. And what have we done? What have we gotten for it? Nothing. Okay. Nothing, but now more to worry about. And of course, you've got, and I don't understand this whatsoever, the squad has so much power and they hate America so much. How did they get that power? And how do they deserve that power? And how can you as Americans stand for it? They truly hate America. Okay. They hate what we represent. They hate this country, but yet they've got support and they've got power. Please, somebody educate me on what you can see in those people that clearly hate Americans and America, okay, and want to strip you of every opportunity in your future to get yourself to the next level. Please, please, please help me understand, okay, why the squad is in so much favor when they clearly can't stand any of us. Okay. And clearly they would love to see some communist regime take over this country, which is not as far away as one might think, because as the Democrats try to move full speed ahead with this $3.5 trillion package, which I assure you has very little infrastructure and a lot of stealing involved in it. Okay. For both parties. Okay. But as they continue to weaken America, we continue to be the ones we have to suffer and pay the tab for their idiotic policies. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Saturday, 9/11. And please remember, never forget what has happened on this day 20 years ago, and never forget to thank the military. Okay, and all of those who helped take care of us to get us through that time. Okay, and for those, if you get this in time, is to the Air Force Navy game is today, football, which should be so emotional, as well as the Mets against the Yankees again tonight. In the meantime, we're going to go sponsor free today. Okay, because we will remember and would rather talk about the people that took care of us. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. We're going to go and do our market update as we once again salute and thank everybody, especially obviously our military, fire, police, who lost lives, families destroyed because of, and it is something that again we can never forget. In the meantime, Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and well, I don't know. Yesterday was kind of a wild, ugly day, right? I mean, markets have been a real struggle. Okay, it has been a challenge in the things that we do. Okay, because we haven't had any real market trends. We have the equities that have continued to fly up until yesterday, of course, but there hasn't been any consistency, and there's no range, and there's no movement. But our positions are what they are. And again, I cannot look at any one short period in history. I can look back and look at the gigantic gains that we have made over time. But again, we make it very clear that this business does have drawdowns. So the markets themselves, were kind of ugly last week. I mean, when you look at the picture, okay, we kind of drifted, all week long. Okay, the Dow, the S&P, they all kind of were lower for the week and kind of drifting that way. And with the light volume, Labor Day shortened weekend or shortened week, the Jewish holidays in the middle. And again, we get Jewish holiday again next week, Yom Kippur, and Happy New Year to my Jewish friends. But so it's going to be slow again. And, it wasn't like it was dramatic, but it was like all at once. And like in the last hour yesterday, we saw a big sign. But in the meantime, for the week, the Dow, the S&P, NASDAQ were all lower. And we are still long across the board. Now, there's one little indication that the Dow could be potentially changing, and that is in our equity portfolios, the diamonds, which is an ETF representing the Dow, will change on Monday. Okay, so that might be something. But right now, we are still long all the indexes. Okay, and as we take a look at the metals, they're in such pathetic shape right now. I mean, gold was down for the week. We're long, but it's really just in a consolidation band, and just it's tormenting to watch it trade. Silver was down, which we are still short, and platinum, which we don't trade anymore, but it did take out the flash crash low. Okay, which means it's probably going a lot lower. Okay, now again, from a physical standpoint, I would be certainly look to be a buyer. But from a trading standpoint, you can't be, but it's not liquid enough to really trade. So again, I will leave that up to you, but I would always urge you and warn you that sometimes trading those things is not worth it because of the lack of liquidity. So as we take a look at the rest of it, of course, the dollar, we are short dollars, and for the week they were slightly higher, but we shorted into the week, into the rally a little bit. The crude oil, which we are long, had an upper week. Again, it's everything is in such narrow range. It's hard to get overly excited about anything right now. Copper, which we are going to reverse on Monday, had an up week, and it did break out of that band of consolidation. It's been churning in, which is obviously always something that is an annoyance, kind of like a boil on your you-know-what. Net gas continues to be unbelievable, monstrous. Okay, the size of the move for the time of the year is incredible in natural gas. And I mean, if we look back, I'm just going to take a look back real quickly here. How far can I go back? Let's see here. Okay, here. This is the highest price at this time of year since 2013. Okay, and if you look at closing prices, the highest closing price since 2009. Okay, so again, natural gas, and that's all due to the energy policy or the ignorance of our energy policy. Okay, the bonds were slightly higher, even with the week being ugly at the end, they were still higher for the week net. Okay, notes, we are long bonds and short notes. Notes are pretty much flat. Interest rates are trying to rise here. It'll be interesting to see what the Fed does and how they try to deal with it. That we don't know yet, how they're going to swing with it. They're not the sharpest tools in the shed anyway. So it's always hard to figure out what they're going to do, but they are going to do what works for them. Okay, which is not necessarily what works for us. And of course, Bitcoin. Hey, look, it's been fairly well. It was an up, it had a big week up 2 weeks ago, big week down last week, big week up again. In the meantime, we're back, around 45,000. We got over 50. Okay. And we're in that position, okay, of, potential, right? I apologize. It was a big down week this week. And of course, we had crawled up and come back from 30 and we're at 45. So you're still at a 50% increase. Okay. We're still big believers and we're still long. Okay. In the grain markets, we're short. Well, we're short beans and corn. Now we had the WASDA report, which I nailed on the report. And I said, they're already pricing in bears is going to pop, and it did. Okay, now again, no big deal. It was down for the week. Corn was down. Beans were down. And now wheat was also down, which we were long. Wheat will be reversing either tomorrow night or Monday. Again, that depends on the individual. And of course, in the protein complex, we're short all of them. Okay, and that would be feeder cattle, which was lower. Okay, fat cattle or live cattle, which was lower, and hogs, which really were lower, but they're all lower across the board. So that was all pretty good. And in the softs, we are still and remain long them all. Cotton, sugar, coffee, OJ, and cocoa. And they all had a reasonable week last week. Again, they're not always going to be home runs, but they continue to move in the right direction. And again, the markets themselves, look, we don't predict. I can see some weakening coming, but I don't know if the weakness came from the end of the week where the markets are just tired and there wasn't any volume. We do have a triple witching expiration this week, which could create a little activity. Now, as far as triple witching, not what it once was, okay, but triple witching is something that can create more volume for sure, okay, and we'll see. Again, I can't predict, but I could see some weakness coming. But remember, you're going to hear all over the news about the weakest month of the year. It's not really the weakest month, but the most volatile month. So you're going to hear a lot of stories which might drive markets again. We got one more week for sure of quietry. Now, whether or not we get any action or not, that's something because of Yom Kippur on Wednesday, Thursday. So in the meantime, okay, just be careful. Just understand your discipline, understand where you're supposed to be, okay, because that's really what it comes down to, is to understand where you are, okay, and what you're trying to accomplish and your overall risk. And if anybody's going to be at the Money Show in Las Vegas on Tuesday, Andy and myself will be speaking, so come and see us. In the meantime, we're going to step out here for a quick break and be back with my commentary after the break, Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, everybody, usually, obviously, I do my sponsors now, but of course, today, my sponsors are America and the military and the fire and police and the public servants who helped us through 9/11, who continue to help us today. And I cannot thank you enough. I cannot show you enough of my appreciation for, if it wasn't for you, I couldn't do what I do. Okay. And I couldn't be in the position I am. And God bless you and thank you. And just never forget today, 9/11, a tragic day in history, but yet, people want to wipe out history, which it can only lead to disaster. But to all of you who were there and helped, and your families and those we lost, I thank you. And let's go back to Bubba's Bottom Line for my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Saturday, 9/11, a tragic day in history, but a day that we must remember and thank all those who helped us survive through there. And that is basically what my commentary is today, is to really say that to all of you in the service and all the pressure in the police departments and fire departments, first of all, those of you who were directly involved or they're your families, God bless you and thank you. It could never have been done without the help of all of you. But as we move forward, I think that we as Americans take too much for granted at those who defend us, and we go through these stupid ass movements of defunding the police. Okay. Now, you want to defund the police, so yes, let's open up the street to killers and to no law and order. For the few bad officers or the few bad people in the military or the few bad firemen, whatever you want to find, you can always find bad somewhere. But the overwhelming majority are on your side. But if you thought about what these people do, okay, for a living and what they make to do it, they make no money, okay, in comparison to what can be made if they were in private security. They risk their lives every single day to save yours. So I encourage you to thank them and say and salute them. And when the next time you see somebody, a military personnel, a policeman, a fireman, okay, an emergency vehicle driver, an ambulance driver, thank them because they protect your ass, okay? And you can be defunding the police all you want. At the end of the day, give them a big kiss and a hug and a thank you because if it wasn't for them, you might not be here. And I will sign off and say, I love you all. I appreciate it. Thank you for making my life possible. Never forget, have a great day, everybody. Have a great weekend. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll see you back here on Monday with Bubba's Daily Update.